Hey, Cardassians, it's Nick.
What's up? It's Rob.
And welcome to our exclusive YouTube content. We're releasing this specifically because right now we're working through a review of BSG on the show, and we got Star Trek Picard out. And so we want to release some Star Trek stuff because, you know, that's where our primary passion lies. So we want to give you some Star Trek material. You may notice we're down one. We're 2 of 3.
He's under the table right now.
This is our Star Trek name, or our board name. We're 2 of 3.
Yeah, nice.
Not 7 of 9. So we're reviewing that. Joe's not here today. He had to sneak out. We've been recording for like 4.5, 5 hours today, and he had to sneak out. But that's okay. He hasn't been watching Picard anyways.
No, it works out well.
So works out great. So we're reviewing season 3, episode 5, Imposters. And I'm going to give you a quick summary of this episode. Basically, this is the calm before the storm again. We're starting the second half of the story. We officially have danger is subsided. The USS Intrepid has been called in to basically take Riker and all the people who've caused issues like Riker, Picard, Crusher, and 7 of 9 off the ship. Shaw has command again. And the Intrepid shows up, and oh no, Ro Lauren is the security officer who's there to take them all. We thought Ro was gone, but she's the commander in the Federation now. And her and Picard do not get along anymore. Basically, they have a conversation, the two of them, where they're feeling each other out to see if either one of them are changelings. And it's a heart-to-heart where Picard admits that Ro broke his heart. And Ro says, "You broke my heart too." So there's a lot of mutual love for each other, but also just deep disappointment for each other. Once this happened, Ro reveals that Starfleet has been completely invaded by the changelings. They're everywhere. They're in the highest ranks of Starfleet, including on the USS Titan. And she basically takes all of the other staff off of the Intrepid, I'm sorry. She takes all the staff off of the Titan except for a skeleton crew of those basically she can confirm are not changelings. And then she heads off towards the Intrepid. Well, because she doesn't have Picard with her, or more importantly, Jack Crusher with her, the changelings attack, and she ends up crashing her shuttlecraft into the Intrepid's nacelle so the Titan can escape. So Ro Laren is dead. The Titan is on the run, and the Federation cannot be trusted. That's this episode. So let's start with the most important things. Michelle Forbes is back.
Yep.
And I think this is a great thing for Star Trek because she was a good story in Next Generation. She was the first mention of the Maquis, right?
Was she the first?
But she was an important cog for the Maquis, right? And she also represented something that maybe Gene Roddenberry wouldn't have liked, which is dissension among Starfleet crew.
Oh, for sure.
She left. She defected to the bad guys. That really hadn't happened yet in Star Trek.
I think he was okay with it as long as it wasn't humans, right? Because humans are supposed to be utopia.
Humans have, but also Starfleet in general was supposed to be this ideal society.
Fair enough.
And we're finding it's not. So anyways, she dissents, she leaves, and Picard is crushed by it. The only issue I really have with this is Next Generation didn't really cover that. But that's because Next Generation was episodic.
Right.
Right? So the next episode, it was the reset button. It didn't happen. It never, like Ro Lauren
plus
never
Picard
existed.
buried his feelings, so.
He did. So, but this one, we're finding out that Picard was extremely hurt by her betrayal. And she was extremely hurt by him for not understanding her.
Right.
Which was great. It was a really well done scene.
Yeah, it was probably one of the best. That scene in that bar where he was confronting her and she was confronting him was definitely Patrick Stewart's best acting of this series so far.
And I would almost argue best acting of the TV show series. Maybe Best of Both Worlds. He does not Best of Both Worlds. I'm sorry. All Good Things.
Family was a good one too.
Yeah.
And then Inner Light.
There are 4 lights.
No, Inner Light was the one where he got trapped in that society for a lifetime.
Yeah, and he had to live his life. Yes. And he learned how to play flute.
Yep.
Which those aren't his hands. Did you ever know that when he's playing the flute?
I think I read that somewhere.
Those are hands up from above.
Nice.
So
hand check.
It was a good episode. There are some issues I had with it.
I do too. Let's start off with Jack Crusher.
The big issue for you is it doesn't feel like Star Trek, right?
It doesn't feel like Star Trek necessarily, but then on the other hand, is that I heard that a theory out there that he might be possessed by a Power Wraith.
That would be very fascinating.
Which is kind of another DS9 reference.
Yeah.
Which is nice to hear.
But if they do that, here's the problem. Like you mentioned this in text messages, it almost feels like an insult to DS9 because you're making all these references to it, but you're not bringing in any characters. Yes, Worf is there, and I honestly associate Worf now more with DS9 because deeper character development.
Well, they did more with them.
But to constantly be bringing this up and not bringing in Nana Visitor, not bringing in Avery Brooks, not bringing in Cole Meany, like bring in some of these people who know about the changelings.
And to piggyback on that, so the scene where they're looking for the accomplices of the Ferengi that he.
Oh my gosh, we didn't even talk about that. Yeah,
there was a Morn. Did you see Morn was listed there?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, are they gonna bring back Morn?
That would be hilarious.
But that was also the perfect spot to bring back Quark in sub capacity. It was a perfect spot.
Yeah, we need to investigate this criminal underground, and then they show the next scene there at Quark's bar.
Yeah,
talking with him on Deep Space Nine,
or even some other Ferengi that was there, or some associate. Like if they couldn't land Rom, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I did like the Vulcan criminal underworld.
That actor, I don't know his name, but he's great in that kind of role.
He did a really good job. I mean, that scene was pretty good. The battle with Worf was slightly predictable because in the previous battle he talked about how aggression will be your downfall, and then here he was aggressive towards her, so it was her way of knowing what to do. But that was fairly forgettable to me, that whole thing. I didn't really care too much about that story.
Either did I, other than the actor. I think the Vulcan who was using logic in criminal element.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. I thought that was
crime. Logically, you need crime for a society to thrive.
And it was great how it would be logical. And I was like, all right, I appreciate this use of logic with this Vulcan.
It's a different way of doing it, right? We've seen
Absolutely.
that with some of the Vulcan criminals and stuff like that, but they've been more emotional.
Yeah.
When
this one,
it.
he was pretty.
He's not emotional.
He wasn't so emotional, but
no.
But to your point, yeah, I think that you have these actors that would be willing to do it if you give them something to do.
Yeah.
And you're just ignoring them as of right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Will I be surprised if they don't bring anybody from DS9 in? Nope.
Yeah, I won't be surprised.
But I mean, they could have did. I guess Terry Matalas was originally thinking about using the conspiracy aliens from Star Trek season 1.
Yeah.
As the alien or as the presence for this.
I'm glad they used changelings.
But yeah, they decided
that's
to go
too much
changeling.
of a throwback too, and the changelings were a very. Say what you will about that, but in time, DS9 has become more beloved in the Star Trek community. It wasn't received initially, but it is now beloved by Star Trek. So it's a great call, and it was also a villain that was there for 7 seasons, essentially.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of experience with the changelings, which I dig. I really dug going back into things I loved, and I really liked the acting of
Shaw.
Not Shaw. I'm sorry. Why am I blanking out? Patrick Stewart.
Okay.
Any scene he was in with Ro Laren was a really well done scene. Even the initial scene where he's starting to chew her apart and he's ripping her like, "Where's your Bajoran earring? You're not even wearing that. You betrayed them too, huh?" And
yeah.
You could see that. I mean, this is a guy. I mean, we saw in the previous episode, Starfleet was his family. The Federation is his family. That's his family. And you can see the hurt in him. And this isn't a hurt that he would have shown in the next generation, but there's a different vulnerability now because here he is as an 80-year-old man whose his best times are behind him.
Well, plus,
he can wear
all
his
good things
now.
Showed that he maybe opened up a little bit.
Yes, he changed. He changed as a person. And I like that twist with Ro Laren's, Bajoran earring. She handed it to him, and it has all the data.
Yeah, and Riker picking up on that. That's nice done.
Well done. Yeah, where he's like, I don't know why she did this. I do.
Yeah.
Like, again.
Old spy trick.
And it tells you something, too. Again, this isn't the same dynamic that these two had in the past. Now Riker is the one who's just as capable of leading. Part of you wants that old dynamic back, but then you appreciate how experience and age brings about that wisdom. And I dug that.
Yeah, me too. Now, how do you feel about here we are, conspiracy with the changelings and Starfleet again?
I'm okay with it because I think they're doing okay so far. I think they're doing an all right job.
It's like kind of like with the episode you'll see of Battlestar Galactica on Monday, where it's like where I was worried that
Oh, we're gonna go too down that rabbit hole of like, are they gonna trust the president?
Yeah, am I see this? I'm gonna see this all over again.
Yeah,
So I'm a little worried about that. I'm open to it right now.
Yeah, I think why I'm okay with it is because Deep Space Nine, because of the format of the show and what it had to do, it had to abandon the changelings have infiltrated Starfleet pretty quickly.
Yes.
It was only a couple episodes, 2 or 3.
Yeah, it wasn't very many.
It wasn't very many. So I'm okay with exploring this a little bit more. I'm interested in how these changelings are able to do what they're doing. It's a form of evolution. I think they mentioned that. Beverly said they've evolved.
Yeah, she said that this isn't science. This is evolution or something like that.
So I'm interested to see how that goes. I'm fascinated by the story. This is not my favorite of the five so far, but it's still good. It's still something I would rewatch.
Yes, and it made you want to watch the next episode. Like when it ended, you're like, come on, let's get to the next one.
That menacing shot of the Intrepid coming up over the Titan with its nacelle on fire was a pretty good shot.
Absolutely was.
It was really well done. I saw on Twitter, Armin Shimmerman was talking back and forth with them, and he's like, my only problem with that scene is there wouldn't be a fire in space.
It's exactly what I thought, too, because the whole thing was on fire, and I'm like, buddy.
But just because fire can't burn in space doesn't mean other things can't burn in space.
Yeah,
a sun burns in space.
It could be some kind of weird plasma, or I
guess.
Could
be plasma. Shields maybe provide some layer of protection for that and hold an environment to some extent.
So Armin Shimmerman's watching this?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I got from it, from looking on Twitter.
I wonder if that means Quark's going to be in it.
Oh, that's a good... I didn't even think about that.
Think about it. Did he watch Discovery when we talked to him? Nope.
No, he didn't. He hadn't watched it yet.
Nope. Sure didn't.
But maybe he's watching this because these are people he's been on Comic-Cons with.
That's true.
He's built up relationships over the years.
That could be.
All right.
I was being hopeful.
So, should we go to ratings?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we're trying to make these 10-minute episodes because we know you value us using our time wisely.
Yeah, especially after you get Monday's episode where it's like 2 hours.
Oh my gosh. You guys,
minutes.
we have a 2-hour episode on Monday, and we're sorry.
Yeah, we are sorry.
But it was Battlestar Galactica, and it was Pegasus. Well, specifically, it was Pegasus.
I blame Nick.
We talked like an hour on Pegasus alone. We should have just made one episode on that one. That's on me. You did that with some good episodes, too, haven't you? Didn't we do Visitor as one?
No, we did Visitors, too.
Okay. But there was 2 good episodes that week, I think.
I don't remember. But whatever, we did break one up here and there.
Not important. So, with all that said, if you were to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving it?
I think 7.5, 8, somewhere in there.
Oh, 8, maybe?
Maybe.
I'm a solid 7.5.
Okay.
I think it's really good. I think your problems with Jack Crusher, I mirror those a little bit. I love the Shaw interactions with the crew, especially the turbo lift scene.
Oh my gosh!
Was it when he's humming and singing? He's like, "Sorry, I'm just chipper."
My problem with that is, okay, so there's 3 instances he wants to pull out, and first of all, the Baku one, Picard was right on. Secondly, they saved the galaxy far more times than they effed something up.
But I think it's a good point. Like, and it's the same thing with always brought up with Kirk, right? Yeah, you may have made some really good decisions. Some of them were just luck, man. Yeah. Some of them are just luck because
Kirk is the reason there is still Earth and Starfleet.
So is
Picard.
He was Picard.
Yeah.
I mean that they're not a Borg planet, right? Yep. I get it though.
Twice.
I think that shows you that to be a good leader means you're going to have to make a lot of really controversial decisions that people aren't going to like.
Yep.
To be a good leader, you cannot play it safe.
Right.
And we've seen this with our captains. We've seen that with Kirk. We've seen it with Picard, and we've seen it with Sisko. I don't think we've seen it with Archer as much because he was kind of a play it safe captain for me. But yeah. All right. So that's what I got to say. 7.5 out of 10.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you tune in on Monday. Follow us. You're already on YouTube, so you already follow us here. So follow us on Twitter. Go to Kardashians Pod.
Hit the like button. Tell some friends.
Hit it. Smash that like button.
Smash it.
Peace out, all. Bye.